comes as the U.S. and its allies refuse to consider Moscow's demand for guarantees that NATO will stay out of Ukraine.
So that's SRN News. SRN News is played on the Christian... I was about to say it's played on the Christian stations. Well, I mean, there's lots of Christian radio stations and lots of Christian TV stations, and one of them plays SRN News. Maybe more of them play SRN News. When they come on and they say SRN News, I say SRN News, vote Republican. Like, it just seems like they say the news in such a way to get you to vote Republican. And they were not 100% Trump, just like Fox was not for Trump at first. But they're trying to get you to vote Republican, just like NPR is trying to get you to vote Democrat. Why can't they just tell us what's happening instead of telling us what's happening in order to get us to vote one way or the other? And why are there only two ways to vote? Every issue is more than just left and right. It's so silly. But I guess, we can't think in three options. We have to have only two. I don't know. Anyway, Ross Perot ran, and I didn't think he would get any votes, but I voted for him anyway because I wanted there to be a third party in actuality, not just in name, not just on the ballot, but actually be viable. Then he ran again. I voted for him once, I think. I don't even remember. Then we had the Tea Party. That was a third party, but they all just ended up voting Republican. And then we have Trump. Trump is not a Republican. Yeah, they nominated him, and yeah, they rode off of his coattails or whatever. But he supported Hillary in Hillary's campaign right before he ran against her. So he's not really a Democrat or really a Republican. He's something else. And the people who want something else voted for him, and then some Republicans voted for him. And that's just, kind of a third party. So a third party was in the office for a while, at least, maybe. Someone saying all those same things who wasn't a media star wouldn't have gotten elected. There aren't very many media stars who will talk like that, so I suppose that's an aberration that's over with. But so many people want something that's not Republican and not Democrat, because conservatives aren't conservative anymore and liberals aren't liberal anymore. I mean, there's nobody less liberal than a liberal. You have to agree with them. And there's nobody less conservative than a conservative. I mean, the only cardio they get is raising their hands once a week for Hallelujah, and they're all fat, and they're not conservative. They don't conserve anything. They waste everything. Liberals aren't liberal at all. Dyeing your hair blue does not make you liberal. Anyway, so we've got the idea that things are either going to get better or things are going to get worse. And what Make America Great Again did was got all the people who think the past is better than the future to imagine a better future, or to work for a better future. So it worked to some degree. And it got people on the left to say, no, we don't want America to be great again. Really? Really? Is that really what you're trying to say? Can't we all want America to be great again if we're Americans? Yeah. That's just crazy. The whole thing is crazy. Let me put it to you like this. We had a first lady who was a model. got that? We had a first lady who was a model, and nobody put her on the front of their magazine. Before Trump ran for president, he was beloved by Hollywood, or whatever. It's bigger than Hollywood, because we're talking about television specifically. But he was beloved by all those people that hated him. I understand that there's a reluctance to think someone can do something else. The man was never in the military, and he never held public office, and that was the first president to not do either one. So I understand people saying, oh, well, he can't be a politician. But I don't understand why they would be absolutely opposed and absolutely think there's no way in the world that he could be a politician. You do two things. He did two things. It's not, people can do more than one thing. So I don't know what the future's going to bring. I don't know if there's going to be a viable difference between, a viable option between other than Republicans and Democrats. But I know that behind the scenes there is a culture war. Some people want everything to change, and those are the people that have benefited from the way things have been. So they're like biting off their hand despite biting off their nose to spite their face. They're shooting themselves in the foot. They're complaining about how bad capitalism with their computer that capitalism bought them. And then Republicans, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. They're just out of their minds. So, okay, so what was I talking about? So we talked about Trump. I think that came to mind because my neighbor thinks she communicates directly with Trump through the TV and through the phone. So that's cute. I know that in order for him to be successful, there are some forces behind him that got him elected. It's not him. He's the front man. Just like his name is on hotels, but somebody else paid for the hotel and ran the hotel. Somebody else made the university and he put his name on the university and so forth. Well, he put his face and his persona on top of the presidency. But who was behind it? That's the question. And what is their goal? I don't know. I don't see how he won the first time, and I don't see how he lost the second time. But there you go. They say now that Chicago was the reason Kennedy won. But for years, they said that the reason Kennedy won is because he looked better on TV than Nixon. But why don't you look at Kennedy on TV? He looks kind of weird. Jackie looks weird a lot of times. He looks weird a lot of times. I understand that they were distinctive looking. I used to think they were cute. There are a lot of pictures of them being cute, but they're weird looking people. Now, some of the conspiracy theorists say that proves that they're, I don't know, what are they? They're transgender, they're aliens, they're reptilians, they're, what are they? My favorite video about Jackie is they show her climbing out of the limo and trying to get the piece of his brain. But they show how she's the one that shot him. That's cute. I wish I could find that video and attach it for you, because that is something to see. Alright, so we're talking about third parties. We're talking about people that go against the system. Kennedy warned against it. The war machine never stopped. Are they the ones that are really in control of all of this? I don't know. Are we just buffeted about by the winds of change and the way things are? Everybody's got their own agenda. It just happens to turn out that we only have two choices. Somebody's keeping it in only two choices, right? And the fact that everybody's over 80 is a problem. And the fact that they couldn't find a black woman and had to pretend like she's black is a problem. Because there are a lot of black women who could be in office right now, right? Anyway, happy January. Happy not thinking about Trump for a minute. And happy COVID. If you haven't noticed, some places are doing a lot better than others. And it's not the places that are locked down. Have a nice day.